Welcome everyone. Today I'm going to teach you something that confuses almost every beginner in business analysis. It's called BRD, a business requirement document. Okay, let me type here. Okay, so we are going to use Confluence and just note-taking purpose, and later on we can finalize our BRD using Microsoft Word. Okay, so this is how it's going to look like. And before we come to this point, we'll talk about rationale, why do we need to create a BRD, when do we create a BRD, and those kind of stuff. Okay, so now listen carefully. Some people you heard tell you only user stories matters, right? So only user story. And some tell you BRDs matter. Some say Agile doesn't need BRDs. And then beginners get confused and think, what should I learn, right? So today I'm going to give the clearest explanation. BRDs are still used, right? So publish this one. So BRDs are still in use. Uh, in big companies like banking, government, vendor project, big initiative. And even in agile teams, when multiple teams need to understand the big pictures, a BRD is like the grandparent of all user stories, right? So user story come after the BRD. The BRD tells the story of the whole project. User story break that story into small pieces. By end of this video, you will know what BRD is. So let me type here what a BRD is. We can include numbers here. And why a BRD is required. Why we create it, and when we create it, and who actually benefit, right? Who actually reads it, and how to write one. And together we'll create a BRD from scratch in the simplest way. Okay, so let's get started. I don't know this. Okay. Okay, this section. What is a BRD? Okay, when I'm talking, I'm just typing here, okay, so that you have some note. What is a BRD? Okay, let's explain this one sentence, right? A BRD tells the business idea in clean and simple, organized way that everyone can understand before building a software, right? So let me write the shorter version. BRD, simple document that explain what the business wants. Okay. A BRD answered three questions. BRD answers three questions. So these are the three questions. Number one, why are we doing this project? And what do we want the system to do? And who is involved? Okay, so this answered all three questions. Okay, so let's get answer one by one. Okay, who reads this? Developer reads, tester reads, managers reads, stakeholder reads, right? Whoever involved in the project, they read the BRDs, right? Even customers sometimes reads, right? If you are integrating with the vendors, your client also read. It works like a movie script before shooting a movie. So BRD helps everyone, right? Like, let me write it. Business developers, testers, managers, you name it, okay? Whoever involved in vendors or stakeholders. Okay, so the next one, Agile was BRD, right? So versus BRD. Now listen carefully. This is where most beginners get confused, right? Agile uses user stories. Waterfall uses BRD. So let me write here these points. Not exactly. Okay, so this is just a common understanding. So Agile uses user story and Waterfall uses BRD. But big Agile projects still use the BRD, right? It's not exactly right this one. Why? Because user stories are small pieces, right? BRD is the whole story. Example, if you give a developer 100 user story without a BRD, they will understand the pieces, but they won't understand the full bigger picture, right? So BRD tells the story. The stories break it into small tasks, simple, right? So you don't, and if you understand this, you are already understand more than 90% of new analysts. When do we create BRDs? When do we create BRD? We create BRDs at the start. Let me write down at the start of a project when multiple teams or vendors are involved, when business need clarity. Almost all big projects we create a BRD, not small enhancement. When the project is too big to explain small stories. Right? So there are many reasons. So like think beginning of the project, usually the BRD is communicated with business, right? So it protects the team from confusion and mistakes and rework. That's the benefit, right? So BRD structure, that's very important, okay? Has five sections. Let me write down BRD structure. So there are full big BRDs, heavy BRDs are there, but as a beginner, if you can capture these five items, you should be good. Okay. So the first section, business objectives. Okay. Next one, stakeholders. Third one, requirements. Rules and constraints or dependencies. Constraints and approvals. So let me explain in a different method. Okay. So business objective what is a business objective? What problem are we solving? So if you are wondering what is a business objective, so let me write what problem are we solving? I mean, we are developing, right? Stakeholders, you already know this one, right? Who is involved? Okay, this is just for your understanding. And requirements, you already know. What should the system do? Right? Rules and constraints. What limits do we have? Right? It's very important. What limits do we have? Approval. Who signs and say, yes, build this one, right? So usually the sign off. Who will approve? Who will fund? Right? So, and says, yes, okay, to build this. All right. Okay. So now let's build a real BRD. Okay. We'll create a complete BRD together. Our example is online application app, a real banking example used worldwide. So I'll start typing as we go. Okay, so I'm gonna use, I guess we can use Word. I'm gonna insert one new document here. Okay, so we are going to include all the sections here. Okay, so we are going to without confusing, just capture the basic. I guess we type this the structure, right? Business objectives, stakeholder requirements, and rules and constraints, and approval and everything, right? So you can include here, if you see my sample already, I have more detail, but just a beginner, as long as you capture this one, you are good to go. Okay. Okay. The blank document. Okay. So we'll type start with business objective. Okay. So can you explain the goal of this project in one sentence? I mentioned, right? So main goal is allow. So we are building an online application for a loan, right? Allow customers to apply for a small loan online using a simple web application. Okay, that's it. We covered our first section, business objective. Okay, you can add more if you want, but this you don't need to think too much of this one. Should I add 5 sentence, 10 sentence? No need to worry. Okay, so as long as the one line is covering your business objective, you should be good. Okay, so the more BRDs you write and more experience you have, you can expand this one. But for the basic understanding, if you are wondering, just clear your interviews, and if you already included in your resume, you have BRD experience, this should be good. Okay, you can talk about this in your job interview. Um, so next one, stakeholder, right? After that, you can add more details. Okay. Stakeholders. So here we can include customer, bank, loan officer, IT team, compliance, risk team, and should be good. Okay, so product manager or project manager. So you can add, okay, whoever your stakeholder. Okay, so next section we have requirements, right? Functional requirements. Let's write functional requirements. These are the things the system must do. Okay, I'm going to use bullets here, or like let's use this one so that we know how many functional requirements we have. Okay, so customer can enter personal details. Customer can upload ID proof. So you have to do analysis first before you capture the BRD. Customer can check loan eligibility. So the more you know the business flow, and easy to write this one. Okay, so that's the key here. The customer can submit the loan application. So just write the bank officer can review the application. Okay, and system send status updates. Okay, so these are all kind of high level requirement. Okay, customer can track the application status online. All right. Okay, so here one more thing we didn't mention. So under requirement, you can write functional requirement and also non-functional requirement. Okay, so if you are wondering what is a non-functional requirement, I have a detailed video. So please take a look. Okay, this is wrong. Non-functional requirements. Okay, these are quality requirement, right? So how the system should load within how many seconds, app should work on mobile and desktop, data must be encrypted, system must be available 24/7, something like that, right? So let's document whatever it's come to our mind here. System should load within load within 3 seconds. Okay, and app should work on mobile and desktop, and data must be encrypted if you are so to check your credit, and if you are sending this information to a credit union, so data should be encrypted. System must be available 24/7. Okay, so these are some non-functional requirement. Now rules and constraint. Okay, so we are following the structure here. Okay, okay, so the rules and constraints. Okay, So these are kind of banking restriction, internal rules. Okay, so business can provide you. Uh, so these are I'm writing particularly for this loan use case. Okay, so customer should be must be 18 years, 18 year or older. Okay, so these are just basic business rules. Okay, loan amount 5,000. Okay, so these are business rules. Okay, you can amount is max is 5,000. Customer must upload valid ID. Even you can define what type of ID can be accepted. Okay, so we are just capturing the high level just to get an idea. Okay, what should go here? So important, the structure, the section. Okay, not the item. We are focusing right now. Application viewed within, this is the SLA, 24 hours. Okay, now who will approve, right? So that's the approval. So let's double check what we have here. So we covered all 4 sections, right? So the final one, just simply let's bring this one down. Okay, and we can tell bank manager, or like credit manager, or product owner, or whoever responsible for this one, product manager, something like that. Okay, so you can see these are the section we need to cover. We have all everything, and so you can capture more detail. Like example here, you can see one template I can attach to the video. Project overview, project name, prepared by who, date, version. Okay, because you are just a beginner, like these are the structure, like you need to see how long it took you, if you know the detail, right? The business objective, stakeholder, functional requirement, non-functional rules, and approval, right? But actual BRD kind of a look like this one, right? Project overview, project name, prepared by who, author, date, version, because they will be back and forth. So that's why it's important to capture. Business objective, right? Business will describe why this project is, what the business problem we are solving. So you can add more detail, right? In scope and out of scope. So here in scope mean, like here we are only scope is for the personal lending, not for the business lending. Business lendings are out of scope. Stakeholder, business requirement, assumptions, and constraints if you have. So in our structure, we didn't include business rules. We discuss about success criteria, risk and dependencies, and approvals, right? So main idea is like capture this thing, but you can expand on this one, right? So here we have 5 items, but the final version I'm showing, like we can include more detail here, right? Like I'm showing here, we have 10 sections, right? So you can expand this one. So you don't need to get confused. Follow the simple structure. These 5 is more than enough. And then after that, you can include these ones. Okay, let me copy to the Confluence so that we can review together. Okay, so you can have the final version of this one, right? The template, you can Let me update before I lose it. So you created, so project overview. Okay, so you can give the business objectives like why it's required, right? Here describe, and scope in out of scope. So the example, we are building this one for personal lenders, not for the business. So business lenders are out of scope. Stakeholder, business requirement, assumptions, like prerequisite, any other dependencies, constraints, and you can mention here business rules. You can mention here what are the business rules, success criteria. How do we know the project is um, accepted or like successfully working as expected? Risk and dependencies and approvals finally. Okay, so again, let's recap everything in the simplest way. BRD is the big picture. User stories are the small pieces. Big companies still use BRDs. BRDs protect teams from mistakes. BRD has 5 sections. We created a full BRD together. Now you can create your own BRDs with confidence. This is your one-stop learning resource. Come back and revisit anytime you need clarity. Thank you and have a good day.